Shiites, we have 3. Alawites, Sunnis, 74%, and Druze, 3%. Okay, so the next question we're looking for, what country is helping Assad fight against the rebels? So what's gonna happen is all these rebels are gonna fight against the government to try to overthrow them. But one of the neighboring countries is gonna provide some assistance. If you want to try to guess now, whoa. If you want to try to guess now, you can to get a point. But if you're wrong, you lose a point now. Or you can just wait. You're going to take a chance? You are incorrect.
Yeah.
All right.
I knew that. I was totally not going to say that.
All right. All right. So we're looking for the country that's going to help. Good guess, though. Iraq is a neighboring country.
Despite representing only 12% of the population. Under the ideology of keeping the country out of the hands of extremists, the Assads heavily favored their sect and crushed those who challenged them.
It's been so long. What's the deal?
Since the outset of the war, it was clear that it would last a long time, mainly because the different rebel groups didn't have numbers, weapons, or a unifying ideology. The only thing they have in common is a deep hate for Assad. As the weeks and months pass, the rebels have increased in numbers and weapons, but not enough to topple Assad, who is now receiving help from Iran.
Mexico.
No, not Mexico.
Yeah, it is.
It's not Mexico.
It's
They just said, when you were talking still, they actually said the answer, but you didn't hear it.
I couldn't hear it either.
Okay. So I'm going to rewind it a little bit because nobody could hear it. Alright. So it's not Mexico. And it's not, I know you got confused because you saw that flag, right? Alright, let's rewind it a little bit. Once again, what do you think it is?
Iran.
It is Iran. Iran is the correct answer.
I could have got it, remember? Because
You said that earlier, yep. Iran. Iran. That's your
Away
answer.
from the lion.
There you go, away from the lion. So Iran, that's who's helping the president. Now listen, the last one's a little tougher. The last one says, so listen, the rebels have finally united. So all these rebels are fighting against the president of Syria, but they're all like in their own little groups. They don't fight together. So finally they unite for one to be more, to help each other a little bit more. So the rebels have finally united, and most believe Assad will eventually be defeated. Once he is defeated, who do experts think will take power of Syria? So basically, once he's defeated, what's going to happen? Alright? So it's kind of a harder question.
The rebels have increased in numbers and weapons, but not enough to topple Assad, who is now receiving help from Iran. Also, many of the rebel groups have abused, killed, and displaced civilians in the name of the revolution, leaving many Syrians wondering if the cure is worse than the disease.
So why aren't we helping? What's going on?
Mainly because Russia and China have blocked any kind of international effort against Assad. Russia and China have interests in Syria, and their leaders believe the Arabs...
Can I turn it up? Sure. So what does Syria have that the other parts of the world like? It's on the screen. Yes.
Troops.
Not troops.
Life?
They have oil, right?
Oh.
So the Middle East, remember the Middle East has a lot of oil.
Oh, I thought you...
50%. 50%.
I
Go ahead.
thought you meant the Middle East wants
50% of the world.
No, so the China is super involved in what's going on in Syria, because one of the reasons is because they feel like they might be able to benefit, and one of the ways may be some way in oil, because there's a lot of oil in the Middle East.
Spring hasn't brought security or stability to the region. The U.S.
Have you guys heard of Al-Qaeda before?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, so Al-Qaeda is a terrorist group.
Oh!
Al-Qaeda is a terrorist group that's had some bombings in all kinds of countries, including the United States. Well, that's one of the groups, though, it's one of the rebel groups that's fighting against the president. So a lot of times what happens is the United States, for us to get involved, we'll find like a rebel group that we support, that we believe kind of what they believe in, and we'll provide things for them. But if we don't agree with what they have or what they believe in, then we don't want to help them. Now, obviously, Al-Qaeda is somebody we do not that's one of the rebel groups. So we haven't really helped a lot, because we don't really agree with all the rebel groups there either.
Hasn't intervened openly because it hasn't found a group who's aligned with its ideology, and is wary that an intervention could give strength to radical groups. The experts believe that Assad will fall eventually. The question is, how long it will take. Although the main rebel groups have joined an alliance, it could crumble once Assad is ousted. The struggle for power could lead to a new civil war, and even to a fragmentation of the country. The conflict could also extend country.
Alright, did you have an answer? Yes, that's correct. So what's going to happen is if they defeat the president, they believe that all these rebel groups that have kind of united, all these rebel groups have united to help each other, and then they're going to defeat the president, and then they're going to want to be in charge, so they're going to turn and fight with each other. So it's going to cause another civil war within the country where they're all fighting against each other. So you can write that down however you think fits, whatever works for you.
Let's put another civil war.
That works. So we're going to finish the video. There's no more questions.
I got to film.
Make sure
I got to film.
Watch, pay attention.
Make sure you pay attention though, because I'm going to ask you 10 questions on Quizdini afterwards. 100% about what we watched.
Struggle for power could lead to a new civil war, and even to a fragmentation of the country. The conflict could also extend to countries such as Turkey, Lebanon, and Iraq, threatening the fragile stability of the Middle East. No matter the outcome, whoever assumes power in Syria will inherit a country in ruins, with an economy in shambles, a deeply divided population, and the challenge to fulfill the promises of the Arab Spring.
Alright, there we go. So it gives you a little bit more of an understanding about what's going on in Syria.
At 11 years old, they're getting pregnant. The women.
You think so, huh?
No, that was a video on the side.
Yeah. Well,
We watch it?
Alright,
Yes.
we're going to do Quizdini.
That is funny.
Oh, what was the video?
11.
Quizdini, listen, here we go. So hopefully we were paying attention. Cameron, you remember how this works with Quizdini? If you know the answer, what do?
You raise your hand to stand up.
You raise your hand or stand up, and you can come up and answer the question. If you have it right, you get a point, but if you miss it, you lose a point. Okay? Some of the questions are the ones that we just answered, and some of them are new ones. There's 10 total. Alright, here we go. Right here. Back here.
Oh, you have to look at that side. That's just sad.
That's the president.
Bashar
right?
al-Assad.
No.
Bashar al-Assad. Alright, next question. Yes, Quinn. So what year did he become president? 2000. Nice job. Next question. So we remember this. What did the army, what did the army do when demonstrators, yes, Cody?
I know it. You got it.
I think
You
I
got
know.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
should
the
have wrote
demonstrators, so they followed the lead of what happened in like Egypt and some other countries. So they went to the streets and they were protesting. We want to get rid of our president, whatever they said. And then they sent the army out and then they shot the protesters.
More than that.
Alright, next one. Right back there. Yes, Alawites. So 12%, they've been controlling the country since the 1970s. Next one. Oh, Quinn, yes. Oh, you're already here. You might as well guess now, even if you don't know.
I know what it is. Like, yep.
The Sunnis, so they have, what was the percentage, do we remember?
74.
Yeah, there's 74% Sunnis, but unfortunately they don't run the show. Alright, next question. Oh yes, the hand was up.
Okay.
Wait.